While some liberals are cowering in their safe spaces reading the New Yorker editorials, some are lashing out in anger. Here in New York City, one Trump supporter says he was attacked on the subway just for wearing a Trump hat. Watch this.
Says, oh, great, another white Trump supporter. Next thing I know, I have hands around my neck, I'm being choked. Then another gentleman comes over, he shoves me up against the wall, up against the window. Now I got my arm pinned behind my back, I have the one guy choking me.
Do you fear you should take off your hat?
Absolutely not. This hat will be on for the next 8 years.
Well, that's hardly an isolated incident. Similar reports have emerged from Berkeley to Madison and beyond. Joining us now for some in-house counsel, our old friend Brian Kilmeade. He works here in the building. He's the host, of course, of Fox and Friends. His book, Thomas Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates, is #1 right now in paperback, which is just amazing and ridiculous.
Well, speaking about #1, congratulations on this incredible launch.
You.
Yeah, the show looks great. I cannot believe you're in 2 locations. Where do you get the budget? What kind of budget?
It's ridiculous.
Does Tucker Carlson
it's really without limits. Here we're in the Fox and Friends studio right now. It's with the budget.
It's incredible.
So you're a lifelong New Yorker.
Yeah.
When I think of New York liberals, I think of Woody Allen sitting in Elaine's debating missile defense. The New York liberals of today, choking people on the subway, they've changed.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no doubt about it. There's some very courageous people who just want to make a living walking in New York City over the last 3 weeks because no one ever really thought Trump would win.
Yeah.
Who are wondering, should I even tell anybody that I'm for Donald Trump? This guy in particular is Corey Catalano, typical person who would vote for Donald Trump, a blue-collar guy who's an electrician. Not only was he attacked on the number 5 train, he never thought it was going to happen. He's in New York. He doesn't expect to be attacked and, going home after a day of work. But he gets slammed into the wall to the point he said he's got a bad shoulder, still working through the pain. And he said that he's also walked up to vendors on the street just to buy a coffee, and they said, you're a Trump supporter? With that hat on, I'm not serving you. That didn't happen when Romney lost or when Bush won. There's something unbelievable about this. And Tucker, if you don't mind me coming to a conclusion on it, do you have some time?
Yes, I do.
Here's my conclusion. $100 million worth of attack ads who made Donald Trump a cartoon character. An angry bigot who does this. He didn't help things, I give you that. But because they tried to vilify him, and he vilified back, that built up the hate to the point where the loser was going to be angry. But the fact that it's Hillary and Trump is the survivor and he's still in New York City has put people over the top.
But see what I'm so struck by, I think it's totally right. But when we were kids, and when you were a kid in New York, liberals would always tell us how much they cared about the little guy, the average person. Now here the little guy and the average person, the electrician in this case, is wearing the Trump hat, and the elites hate him for that. So when did they lose sympathy for normal people?
Simple. The Republicans went and took it. And I remember Rick Santorum rolled out a book, and he said, about 3 years ago, and he said, Republicans used to be the blue-collar, for the blue-collar guy as well, and they lost it, they left it. And because Donald Trump grabbed it as a billionaire, which is bizarre, as a billionaire, he related to it, he walked away with Pennsylvania, he walked away with Ohio, he walked away with Wisconsin, he walked away with Michigan. Now he's got to go do something for those people. But in the meantime, the people that thought they won and controlled America find themselves right now in the loser's corner, and they're not taking it too well, and that's why Corey paid the price. That's why this 11th grader in California at Woodside High School paid the price. She got beat up because she posted on her Instagram, I hope Donald Trump wins. On Wednesday, she gets beat up in the playground. That didn't happen when McCain lost.
The people who thought they ran America wound up in the loser's corner. I'm going to quote you on that. Now, let me just say quickly, you were honestly, and not flattery, one of the only people in New York City I knew who called this. I saw you on election night, and you'd bet money on it, I think. You knew when others didn't. Why did you know when no one else did?
Well, all I said is this. I'm not an expert or pollster, but if all these states are within the margin of error, why wouldn't you go with the person with momentum? The pollsters are telling you we're within the margin of we don't know.
Yes.
So why can't Trump do it? And no one could say, well, they just said you can't win 9 of those I don't know states. In the end, he won 9 of those I don't know states because he surged at the end. And then we find out later he did have a sophisticated ground game and a great digital guy. And he was actually much more sophisticated than we actually knew. Now let's see if he can do the hard part, running the country for 4 years.
That's exactly right. How do you do with the sports book?
What do you mean?
I mean, gambling. When you gamble on sports, how do you do?
The addiction's over, and I think I've effectively beaten it through a series of classes, and I got to meet a lot of people. No addiction, but I did. John Finley, an esteemed executive here, owes me a lunch, and I've chosen Del Frisco's, which I can usually not even put a down payment on a steak. So this is going to be a great lunch for me.
Get the surf and turf. He's rich. #1 on the paperback list. Brian, it's great to see you.
Congratulations, Tucker. You so deserve it.
Thank you.
And feel free to use the couch in the back where Fox and Friends normally is.
You got to clean it.
Coming up next, cooking.